Time now to talk about something that we often like to avoid. We're talking about handling conflict. Well, we got some really solid tips for you here from Twin Cities business and life coach, Jasna Burza. Good morning, Jasna. Glad to have you with us.
Such a pleasure.
Okay, I want to talk about something that I kind of don't want to talk about, but it's having conflict with people in those tense situations.
At some point, unfortunately, when I talk about this, we are going to experience tense and difficult situations, conflicting situations, but you and I always find ways to share tips on how to diffuse those situations and protect our energy. So we have few tips that are sure to work.
Okay, well, I know you say this, stay calm, but that's tricky when you're really fired up and your adrenaline's going.
It really is, but if we keep it at the center of the mind and we take a deep, deep breath, like the breath is such an activator of the parasympathetic side of our brain, it is impossible to be all worked out and be breathing deeply at the same time. Conflict creates such fear and anxiety, and when we are emotionally charged, our cortisol speeds up, right? So by breathing deeply, we are calming ourselves down. We have to remember, adding more fuel to the fire does not help everywhere. So it is not always possible, but we have to try. Don't engage when you are emotionally charged. If you can remember that, just take a time out, cool off, buy yourself time, run to the restroom, but just calm yourself as much as you can. That is number one.
And then you said empathize, which is hard to do when you're mad at someone.
Again, always hard to do, but there are always two sides to the story. We're so married to our own story, right? But if we ask ourselves just one question, what else could this mean? If we're really honest, how many times have we argued about something and we really didn't know the full story, right? So if we empathize and we put ourselves in someone else's shoes, or we just take a minute longer to listen versus acting out of our own righteousness, I really think that that can heal that relationship or just diffuse it a little bit.
So you're kind of validating them in some manner, right?
Well, I know that this is also difficult, but that is the thing. Riding a bicycle is difficult at some point until we try it and it becomes easier. FBI agents and negotiators in difficult situations always say this: reaffirm and validate the other person because it immediately puts them at ease. An example of doing that is saying something like, I can tell that this is very, very upsetting to you, or, oh my goodness, this is really important to you. I see that you're very, very emotional about this, or, versus, why are you so mad about it, or what's wrong with you? When we do that, we are just acknowledging their emotions. Doesn't mean we're agreeing with them, but we're acknowledging their emotions because they're very, very real.
Okay, and last tip here, walk away.
Sometimes we just have to do that. I practice that with my husband quite a bit. When I just know it's not going anywhere, sometimes the best healing technique that we can do to diffuse the situation, if we feel ourselves getting out of control, just walk away. I feel like it is the last resort, but sometimes we don't want to be pulled into the vortex of chaos, and it's perfectly okay just to walk away and protect our mental health and sanity and come back to it at a later point with apologies or different techniques for negotiation.
And like you said, like riding a bike, you work this muscle and you get better at it over time, right?
Every single time, and that's how we get better at anything, right? And we also want to say we are to expect difficult and challenging situations. Like, we're going to have them all our lives. So the more we practice, the better at it we get.
Hey, that's life. And we're glad we have you to coach us through it. Thank you, Jasna.
Such a pleasure.